Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family. Keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you can get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
And a TGIF to you all. Apparently, I think I did hear a little bit of intro music in there, which I think was
I did too.
Kind of weird. There was no commercials. There was no bumper music. Just straight into some weird kind of not so hot sounding intro music. Didn't even sound like the full thing. Might have just been a little snippet of it too. And I'd started early because I was going by the clock. Silly me. I thought it was going to start when it said it was going to start. So I was timing my
Silly.
stuff. Oh, well, whatever. Happy Friday,
Silly
everybody.
boy in your clock.
Silly clock. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We are sans Walter this morning as he is resting up and he's not had his procedures done yet. Apparently he's had a little sickness he needed to get over before he could get that done. And somebody who's actually managed to talk to him, as I have not.
From his kitties. He came down with cat scratch fever. No joke. I thought it was just a song. No, I had heard of it before. But yeah, he said he found a bump on his elbow and was like, whoa, what's that? That's kind of weird. And then mentioned it to the dentist. And he's like, yeah, you probably have to go get, have you been sick lately? He's like, well, I thought I had a fever and this and that. And then he went to a doctor and found out, yeah, he had cat scratch fever. So, yeah, they put the procedure off, thank God, for a little bit because, your body's fighting one thing. You don't want to go and throw something else right on top of it. So, no, he was feeling all right last night. He was feeling kind of groggy and so he wasn't sure if he was going to make it today. He said if he's, in pain anyway and up, then he would get in some rest. And, yeah, they're going to move the procedure back a little bit.
Well, rest up, Walter. I didn't expect he would be here today anyway. And shit, I'm lucky to know that it's even Friday because I can't keep my day straight. Because we did have somebody plan to come on Tuesday. And again, since I can't keep my day straight, I'm sending him links last night to make sure he's got stuff to get in. And said, wait, was this for tomorrow or Tuesday? I said, oh, yeah. So I went back and double checked. And sure enough, he had said Tuesday. He didn't say Friday. It's like, you know what? I'm usually up anyway. I'll be on both. I said, you know what? We're going to be missing Walter for a couple of shows. I think that'll be all right. Mr. Lucas, he's got to take a little bit of time off. He's just so busy with the garden. And you just got a couple more shows he's going to pump out, and he's just got to focus on some other things. So we're going to be missing Lucas for the most part. He still may pop in here and there. But I think as much as we were seeing him around here, I think that may be kind of minimal here until the winter time. But he will be appearing over there on Benjamin Balderson's channel this very evening here in about 14 hours, I do believe. And then at some point in the very near future, you will be able to hear LC King over there on Crow 777 talking about the galvanic cell and possible models and things going on.
I'll be
with
listening
the
to both of those.
That will be awesome. That's right. The man I was supposed to send a link to next week, but was kind enough to show up anyway, Mr. Austin from the Melodome. Awesome, Austin.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's happening? How you doing?
Appreciate you letting me come on. Yeah, I was down to come on anyways. I always listen to you guys every week with coffee in my bowl. So why not hang out with you guys, right?
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
And then we are joined again
my
this
audio
morning.
Coming in okay? Because it sounds I sound loud to me on my end. So
I think you sounded really good. I don't hear any issues at all. And we are also joined this morning by Mr. Jonathan from Jersey, hanging out up and early once again. John, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Back in Jersey.
Yeah, just loving it, huh?
Yeah, really much.
Got all sorts of political shakeups going on over there in Jersey, aren't you?
I don't want it too much. Got my hands in some other projects.
Only because I know you. If I hear New Jersey, my little radar pings and just sort of makes a mental note. I don't particularly pay attention either, but every time I hear it, something pings in my head.
Right on.
Yeah, I heard them Democrats are fighting them Republicans again.
What?
That's about as far as I get with the whole political.
Those damn red versus blue. Rah, rah, rah.
Being funded
I'm
by
gonna
the
pick
purple.
one. And I'm not gonna like anybody that likes the other one. Oh.
Yeah, I live in a
divide and conquer. Come on, it's easy.
I work in an area where it's like a retirement community, and it's crazy. It's like during these elections, you got old people who have been neighbors for 15, 20 plus years and will become enemies over two other old white dudes that don't even care about either one of them, you know? So it's like Crips versus Bloods with golf carts.
That's pretty funny.
Drive-by bocce balls.
Yeah, we don't get into politics too much here on the realm because not everybody here knows that it's all nonsense. So yeah,
That's real.
I don't think anybody here follows it. I'll watch. I love this whole woke agenda dying. So I've been watching the news lately. I've been watching people. Yeah, it's really. Well, what they did is they pissed off the parents, the soccer moms.
Was that the tipping point?
Yep.
It was.
Well, yeah, because little children are coming home and saying, "Am I bad because I'm white?" and crying because that's what they're being taught in school. And parents aren't having it; they're flipping.
I think Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, and trying to label involved parents as domestic terrorists by the Department of Justice. I think that they definitely overplayed their hand once again.
Yeah, didn't just label them, actually sent the FBI to these people's houses.
Right, domestic terrorists, right?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Just insanity.
Yeah, but you know it's not really the tipping point until people start going to their houses.
Yeah, I know, Jonathan. Jonathan just started the revolt. Yeah, we don't talk about that stuff on the air, Jonathan. Remember,
it's coming. You want to talk about white people that are in trouble? Oof.
So I would be all right. I was thinking about this the other day. I think I would be okay. I mean, maybe it's a little too much. So it's not like you should have to live in poverty if you're going to be a politician and work in public service. I'm all right with having a pretty decent recompense.
Like a police officer.
Same with them
they get
too.
Paid pretty well.
They do get paid reasonably well. I mean,
they make 90 to 120,000 out here where I live.
Well, here's the difference, and one I think that we need to bridge this gap is I think cops should definitely be paid more because their life is potentially on the line. Even if they're making a traffic stop, fucking drivers are idiots, and just getting out to make a traffic stop could get you run over. So it's a life-threatening job. So you should definitely have a bit more compensation should something happen. But I think that's what is missing in politics is the fucking responsibility for their actions. They are able to just get away with everything with zero consequence.
Yeah, but that's because most of them are all scumbag lawyers, and then they become judges on top of it. So,
and this is,
you know, that's illegal right there. Did you know that you're not allowed to be a lawyer and a politician?
Well, no, that's like the Obamas and stuff. They get rid of their law degree or whatever. I forget what the process is called.
But you're still an esquire, right? You still got trained in law.
I don't know about that. I don't know what the procedure is, but
so yeah, just because you're not practicing law and don't have your license, you still were esquire. You know, you're still part of the judicial system. You're not allowed to be a part of the executive or the legislative now.
Well, that's a U.S. code.
How it was set up.
That's right. It was the original 13th Amendment in the Constitution once upon a time. And it's codified into law, though most people don't know it, don't realize it, and I'm not sure how in the hell you'd enforce it. But it is unlawful, according to the United States Code. I couldn't rattle off which one right off the top of my head. For anyone to hold office who also holds a title of nobility. In the original 13th Amendment of the Constitution, it was called TONA. It was the Titles of Nobility Act, stating that if you held a title of nobility from a foreign government, you could not hold a position in the United States government. And unfortunately, being an esquire is a title of nobility, though not very high. It is still a title. And thereby saying any attorney, any lawyer, any esquire granted that title would be ineligible to hold political office because of that title of nobility act, whatever the USC code is.
Yeah, but we live in a pathetic society too that keeps perpetuating the need for lawyers. I mean, so many people are litigious, somebody's butthurt, they freak out. I mean, there were times, when people would maybe tap your car, little scratch on it, you get out, look at it, and say, okay, nobody's hurt, just move along. Now it's like, people stop in the middle of the street thinking a cop's going to come and put a chalk line around it like it's a murder scene. They don't move cars off the freaking road.
Yeah, people are so dumb. Oh, it drives me insane.
Yeah, it's time to go there. But, yeah.
But yeah, you were saying how, I agree, Josh. Politicians, they shouldn't be getting paid nearly what they get. Nobody should be allowed to vote for themselves to get a raise like that.
Who's going to say no?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think Congress needs to get a raise. Let's have Congress vote on that. See what they think.
That's right. We need to constitute punishments. We need to put into the Constitution severe punishments.
Yeah, but it's like it should be career politicians. Like if there's other positions that should be career that are necessary, maybe like paralegals or people that do the actual work behind the scenes, right? Because they're important, just like nurses, whatever. But as far as holding positions of authority in office, 40 years, like Biden or Pelosi, and then you see how much they come out the back end from all those sweetheart deals behind the scenes. I think it should be more like public consensus and based on certain criteria of what people have done in society. Picking the best of the best, and putting them up there and saying, letting the American public vote on them.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't even need politicians anymore. The reason we had politicians is because we needed somebody in Washington to represent us. Do you have a smartphone? I got a smartphone. Right. Does the whole nation pretty much have a smartphone or a way to access the internet? Yeah, okay, well, we can vote ourselves. I don't need somebody who's going to tell me he's going to vote one way and then go and actually vote another way when he gets up there. We don't need these people anymore.
You know what the worst part is, though? Like, Washington, D.C. is kind of like the Vatican, right? It's its own entity. It's not part of the 50 states. It's not part of the continental U.S. It has its own, system.
Its own district.
System.
And I'm sorry, I think Congress needs to be drug tested. You're going to be making decisions affecting 300 million people's lives. Yeah, you should not be on meth or heroin or crack while you're up there voting. Just an opinion. It's insanity what we allow.
And if you vote against your record, if you vote against what you were elected to do, if you're found using drugs, I think we're talking like life in prison. I think life in prison for a politician being found guilty of doing something while in office should be the bare minimum sentence, up to including execution. And that's just for the people that want.
I think they should wear jumpsuits like NASCAR drivers, and whoever gives them the biggest handouts, they need to put a patch on their fucking jumpsuit so we know who they really work for.
That's
like the movie Idiocracy.
I like that. South Carolina, what's up? Wasn't that part of Idiocracy? To represent North Carolina.
I know there were certain things they had to say, like for certain brands, like for like Hardee's or whatever the hell, Brondo and all that crap.
Yeah, I think the people who should be paid the most are the ones that make your life the easiest. I'm talking about the guy who runs the whole septic sewer system. Those guys. I think they should be some of the highest paid people in the world. I go and make this horrible mess. I push a little lever and it disappears. I mean, that's convenient. That's really convenient. Turning on the little knob and water comes out. The thing that makes life comes right out of a little thing on my sink. No, that's worth more than any politician right there. Your garbage men, your truckers, all these people are the ones that I think, in my opinion, should be paid the most.
Truckers are exempt. That's how important they are. All the truckers are now going to be exempt.
Awesome. Yeah, they should be. They know they need them. See, folks, this is how we stand united and together and we get things done. Now we need the truckers on our side to say, you know what? That's nice that you're telling me I don't have to get a shot, but it's bullshit you're telling them they have to get a shot. I'm still not driving for your ass.
Right.
We have to be united on this front. We can't let them separate us and divide us like that, saying, oh, okay, we need you so you don't have to get the shot, but we're going to make all these other people still get it. Don't worry about it. And there's a lot of people out there like that. That's what I love about this country. People who have already gotten their jab, right? But are saying, hey, wait, you're trying to say you're mandating these people to get one? No, I'm not working for you either. I'm going on strike too. With them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people I come across that, I work at a bar and stuff, and a lot of them, I mean, every single one of them that have gotten that thing, they still are like, you shouldn't be forcing that on other people. We're not for that, There's decent people in this world, like I don't like the whole division between anything, I think that's how we get there is by coming together. Jab, no jab, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's why they want us divided so badly and give us all these things that do divide us. I used to not like other people because they were wearing a jersey with a different sports team logo on it. And I would feel like this animosity towards them as soon as I saw it. That's how brainwashed I was. Oh, your team's playing the Bears this weekend? I'd look at them like I was mean or something. Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they had me. I was right there, as brainwashed as ever, playing the whole divide and conquer game right along like they wanted me to.
But the problem is, it's not just divided. I mean, that's such an antiquated fucking, bullshit idea. Because, it's not just left and right. Once you have your left and right divided, and whether you're Republican or Democrat, I don't care about independent and all that. I've always tried to be in the middle. But then when you're on that side that you're on and you feel comfortable, then you have, the intelligent ones versus the stupid ones. There's another one. Or, a higher social class or economic class and a lower one. Okay, so there's people that I don't even want to deal with on my so-called side, that I wouldn't even put myself around them, or rather let them be around me. But let's not, it's not about sides. I would say that I'm on my own side 99% of the time.
Hell yeah, I was just about to say that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a big, what's the word? Problem. It is. I don't know if we're meant to be tribal or if it's our upbringing that does that to us and the television and all that kind of stuff, but we do. We get tribal.
No, it's the fact
it starts
that
in elementary school.
Yeah, but America was never homogenized. We never had our own culture like China, India, or anywhere where everybody's the same race, the same whatever, the same cultural beliefs, and so on and so forth. So you have all these different levels of dominance. Well, here, let's talk. I can't even say that on the radio. Everybody brings something to the party, right? But it's never been a melting pot. I've always said it's like a salad bowl. So it's like a really, really incredible salad bar. But if you don't like onions, move them to the side. If you don't like olives, move them to the side. Tomatoes, whatever, move them to the side of your plate. Right? If everybody served the same thing, as long as there's plenty of green on the plate, everybody's happy. Right? We know what that means. But there's also some people that don't go along to get along, and they control the kitchen. Let's just say it that way. Read between the lines. Is that kosher salad?
I will say there's been I think a certain culture, but that's been, I suppose, probably attempted to be brainwashed into Americans. And that's that we the people. That there's a few things that we hold to be self-evident, right? That man has a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All of them, regardless of your gender. The large, over grand reaching capital M man, not necessarily males versus females, but humans. And that was
humans,
right? At least in my understanding.
Light warriors.
Nice. We were sort of that grand experiment. This idea that, you know what, we don't necessarily need a king to grant us his rights, because he still takes a shit just like me, and his shit stinks just like mine does. Who is he to tell me I can't speak? Who is he to tell me I have to let soldiers come in my house and sleep in my bed and just do whatever the fuck that they want to do? You know what? I think that my rights came from God. That God gave that man rights, but he gave me rights too. And he gave my wife rights, and he gave my neighbor rights, and he gave all of us rights. And you know what? I think we're going to go exercise those rights and try to go ahead and tax my tea. I'm going to introduce you a little thing called a false flag, motherfucker. Tax my tea. I'll show you, Indian. I'll dress up like your other enemy. Climb aboard your ships and just start chucking tea out into the harbor. That'll show you.
Sam Adams.
I know what you're really scared of. Heathens.
Yeah, but look, when you go back and you look at the War of Independence and all that stuff, right? Like, England already won. They won on two fronts. They could have won militaristic, or they could have won economically. And they did the second. They did the latter, right? So, with maritime law and everything else, and the guys that were put in place, Benjamin Franklin, all these guys, they had interests still back in Europe, and they had interests here. Obviously, landowners, slave owners, the whole 9 yards, trade and commerce, and so on. So it wasn't about winning militaristically, because when they lost, it gave America a sense of, morale and all this and victory. Yet here we are a couple of 100 years later, or not even 100 years, and we're still dealing with the enemy, right? We're making deals and making them our allies.
So the question really is, did we win?
No, we never won.
Right.
We're a proxy nation, right? Beholden to two very specific countries right now in the world, and we're the military arm branch of that relationship, right? Smedley Butler pointed this out in War is a Racket.
Yeah,
And that's the absolute.
Your financial section, the City of England, I think it's called, or because they have Washington D.C. over there as well.
Exactly, that's where all the banks are.
Then you have your Vatican. That's your religious sector. So you have all your, and then the United States is your sword. We're the military might of this three-headed beast.
That's why you see all these, coincidences, right, of the way the cities are built and aligned with each other on maps and shit, and Stonehenge and all this other crap in Egypt. And I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and do like Jordan Maxwell and all this other crap, but it's so readily apparent. And yesterday with Veterans Day, a lot of veterans was thanking, and then the day before that was the Marines' birthday and all that. But the bottom line is, and this offends some people because they're stupid, right? Young, dumb, and full of cum. And here it is. Here's the statement. And I think I said on the air before, every war that America's been in, we've been the enemy. True or false?
Relativistically speaking, that is true. We've only got about 20 seconds before we have to break. Oh!
Break music.
Look at that.
Perfect. Enough to piss people off.
And I think it's pretty well queued up and on time.
Let's talk about it on the other side.
Let's talk about it on the other side. Stick around. We'll be right back after these brief messages. This is the Ironworx.
Hey, can we talk behind the scenes or?
I mean, they'll hear it over there on TFR over the commercials.
Do they really?
Yeah. I think.
Wait, me and Mark used to talk to each other when the intro music or outro went out. And they couldn't hear us. The callers could.
There. Now they can't.
Oh, no?
I just had to kick the studio out.
Gotcha. No, I want to bring this up during the thing because,
I mean,
you know,
hold
the
on.
funny thing is,
TFR can't hear us. Everybody else can. We are still live, by the way. We're just not talking over commercials on TFR.
That's so crazy.
I'm trying to figure out why Restream won't connect to YouTube. It's like it's connected for the streaming, but my chat isn't connected, and it's pissing me off.
I was
I
having
don't know
that
why
problem.
I'm on this show, man. Just to piss people off, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we enjoy having you on, man.
And Austin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I didn't even think
You
about
got I love the way you think. Like, you're coming out with like gravy. I like it.
Thanks, bro. You too, man.
Yeah, you got to check out Austin's show. Did you ever go check out the Melodome?
No, I'll definitely do that. Absolutely. Link me out to it or
Yeah, him and Chris.
Turbo would want stuff.
Yeah, I'll drop the link.
Should be in the show description. Also,
I did talk to Corey
Nice.
the other day. Talked to him for an hour and a half.
did you good?
Yeah, Corey Kell. Yeah,
That was interesting, man. He busted down. Like, yeah, I'll tell you later. I don't want to say it on air.
Who, Corey Kell?
yeah. There's
Yeah,
a lot of people.
I talked
that
to
are gonna
him
be
at
making
Solar
videos.
Return. He's fucking awesome, dude. He was
Really,
at yeah.
All right, I'm gonna bring the studio back in. It's about that time.
All right.
Hey, you know, even Mark Sargent has a handler.
Father, the sleeper has awakened!
Wake up! Wake up!
And welcome back to the Ironworx right here on True Frequency Radio. Sure. Do have studio. We should be connected. I don't think we talked over commercials over there on TFR.
What's that static?
Well, that would be
Wow, it sounded like the ocean.
the studio line.
Calm down, Studio 9. Calm down.
All right, let's see if I can't maybe.
That sounded like the ocean. That was wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that was the
You know what? I think that was just a little bit of bumper music. I think is what that was. I don't think it was coming through, but I think the line that plays the bumper music was open, but the music was low. I thought I might have heard just a little something in there, music-wise. So I think that might have been what that is. Still not quite on cue with my timer. And yeah, not loud enough. But I know Chris has been hard at work back on the back end of the studio, having to change things around and do things differently. And yeah. Big changes, I think, up in the near future coming from Truth Frequency Radio. Even more big changes besides just chat rooms and things like that. So be on the lookout there.
So can I just finish my thoughts? I don't upset too many people.
Yeah.
Sure.
The bumper music came on the outro.
I suppose. As if finishing your thought is going to prevent people from getting upset, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's impossible. So basically, like I was saying, is like every war that America's ever been in, we've been the enemy. And the second part of that is any soldier who goes to war is following a bunch of failures, their leaders, into combat. So, some guys get pissed off at this, especially military guys, and I laugh. I was like, well, look, the people that are fighting the war, the actual guys on the front line, it's been proven time and again that many of them don't want to fire at another human being. There's a World War II,
85%.
There you go. So it's against human nature to want to kill somebody. That's what it is. It's killing. Okay. I'm not going to say it's murder because murder has a different motive. This is, I'm saying that it's defense as well. You put me out there. What am I going to do? Right. But the point is that there was a failure. There was a breakdown. Nobody could make peace. And that's what created the conditions for war. And that peace, unfortunately, was brought about by private interest, whatever the hell it was geopolitically. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about moral behavior either. I'm not saying who are the good guys and the bad guys. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that when you're in a war, you're the enemy. You're not a competition. Right? There's no handshaking afterwards. They know, oh, good form, sir. Good form. No, this is war. So let's get that straight. And it's not, again, as much as they try to push it, or we seem to see a breakdown in society and reality TV and all this other crap, at the core of things, people are intrinsically good. And we saw this, again, I bring this up because in my lifetime, it was one of the most polarizing events that happened was 9/11. That week and a half after 9/11, I never saw everybody from every walk of life act in the most civil manner, considerate manner. This wasn't just like when somebody dies and there's a funeral and people don't know what to say and they go, I'm sorry. No, this was beyond that. People were actually, it wasn't even remorseful. It was like a shock into reality that life is critical. Life is precious. Life is fragile. And people are on their best behavior. And you know what broke it? It was about a week and a half later on a Wednesday, Thursday, that a-hole Bush, who was our president at the time, Junior, gets up there and says, people got to get back out there and spend. And then that just gave the cue for all the, is it too soon? Is it too soon on the run advertisements where we say, get out there and, and let's put life back to normal. So again, don't mistake what I'm saying. Our men and women who fight, and I'm saying this for Veterans Day because it was yesterday. God bless you all, for serving. I mean, that's the right thing to do, of course. And protect your friends, family, and loved ones. But unfortunately, we're put into situations under this, waving of the patriotic flag that the world over, I still see people would rather have peace. The Olympics are indicative of this. Our trade around the world is indicative of this. Social media, when you see people laughing, right, contributing clips up to social media from all walks of life around the world, even, remote parts of Africa, wherever, is indicative of this. But war is not a natural behavior. I'm going to end it there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. People don't want to kill people, they just don't.
No, even the doctors and nurses, like you see the blame that's getting pushed on them with the COVID thing, and they're following protocol. But again, you see the administrative orders that are coming down on these people, and people are walking away now finally because they see how ludicrous it is, what a lie it is. And even, some of them unfortunately had to come to that realization, like, oh my God, here I was thinking I was doing good, genuinely, and I got duped, and now I'm angry. And they're walking off on the job. What?
Thinking your whole career that you were out helping people.
Yeah.
And then this happened. You know how many doctors probably can just did research on medicine in general?
Oh yeah, I think there was a lot. I think Louis Pasteur, a lot of them spoke the truth about what they realized later on, after their work was published and they saw the long-term, because there was no long-term basis, right, when these things were introduced. It's only after the passage of time.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at thalidomide, look at anything. And again, when the companies sign off on it and they hurry it up through the testing procedures because they want to get it out to market. Look what they did to ivermectin. That shit was like 6 cents a pill. Now they've jacked it up. You look at the prices now, it's ridiculous. I used to be able to get that horse paste stuff for like $7 a tube, and the only difference between the horse paste and the pill was the pharmaceutical grade, as they say, compared to, a little bit of whatever's in it. But
binders
it would be good for up to a 1200. What's that?
I said binders and coatings.
Yeah, things like that. But again, nothing that's going to harm the human body in the short term.
You're still giving it to a biological animal. It's not going to be cyanide,
Correct.
Yeah.
And I use Keith Richards as my benchmark. If it's not going to kill Keith Richards,
Man, I can't believe that guy is still up there. He looked dead when I saw him back in '98.
Right?
Up on stage. I thought he was going to fall over and die right there.
Yeah. But no, like I said, like this current, and you know what, and in the most ironic sort of way, it's almost like all these things have had to happen when you, again, looking at the past, from the Hitlers of the world or Genghis Khans or anything, like the things that created change, and it wasn't in the best way possible. But what it did, it has a polarizing effect again to shock people back in reality and looking at it and examining it and saying that's the worst in human behavior that we've ever exhibited. Let's not do that. Right? If my life as an F up only serves to have other people say, "Don't do what Jonathan did," then hey,
that's my parenting. That's how I do my parenting. Don't do what Dad did. Look how stupid Dad was. Look at all the silly shit Dad did because he was just immature and stupid and out of his mind on drugs. That's what drugs will do to you. Look, don't do what Dad did.
Doesn't the Bible put it succinctly though? Doesn't it say, "Do as I say, not as I do"?
Not as a example on how to live, I don't think.
What's that?
I don't think hypocrisy. I don't think the Bible quotes hypocrisy as a way to live. Do as I say, not as I do.
What does Austin say to all this?
I don't know. I was thinking about, because you're bringing up pharmaceutical and all that, and I was just thinking, well, first off, with the 9/11 stuff, you're bringing up how it made people feel after that. Well, it also got so many young guys to go enroll into the army. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of them went through that whole experience and came out on the other end saying it's all bullshit. The search for weapons of mass destruction was all bullshit, and all that. They come home with a different attitude, and that's what those events are for. I think is they're like, man, we don't have enough people getting into the army. Let's, like, Pearl Harbor is another example there. It's like killing two birds with one stone. They can get involved in this cash grab of a war and also get a big boost of people enrolling into the military, and I think that's what 9/11 was as well.
Well, did you ever examine or see the documentary on Pat Tillman?
No.
The football player.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Friendly fire.
I mean, he looked like the epitome of G.I. Joe when he wore that beret. Like, he was triple tapped. He was set up for the kill. So.
Okay, he was shot in the back by his own.
I don't know about this. I don't think the troops that were there. I think there was a private. There was people that were put in place to precisely, execute that. No pun intended, because it's not funny at all. But it's unfortunate because, he would have served in a better capacity if he had such a good heart and all that as a football player, and probably good to his fans, good to his family, to his kids. Yeah, I think him and his brother both signed up, but it was such a travesty. But they had him as a poster child. You know what they did that with too? I remember I was still at Verizon. I think it was 2002. That Jessica Lynch thing where she was in the Humvee and they crashed, and they made her out to be like a Rambo, like female Rambo. And I remember these guys in the office were like going off on it, saying, "Oh, this is amazing. This girl's amazing." I said, "Dude," she never fired her gun once. And they looked at me and they were so pissed off. They're like, "Oh, here he comes, Mr. Conspiracy Theory." And I said, "I'm telling you right now, she never fired a gun. That's all propaganda." So they laughed it off. 6 months later, right? It's on the front page when she came out with her true statement on ABC News or something. They threw the paper down in their coffee area where they sit. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm just a conspiracy nut."
Yeah, they like to tell a story. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And when they run their whatever they call them, the recall or whatever, like, oops, we messed up. It's always, you know, at the part of the news they know most people aren't watching, they'll say something. Or they put it, you know, turn to page 39 in the newspaper.
Right.
Finish the article. And they'll put it back there in the very back part. It's never a headline when they admit, you know, their lies.
Television, yeah.
Go to page 4 and invert the newspaper. Now, fold it in half, right corner down. Make your little origami. Choose number 37. Open the flap. We're sorry.
You know, it reminds me of, there was another point, Austin, that you were bringing that up. There was an incident around at the same time, maybe 3 years after that, where these couples, these white couples, were shot. They were brought to ATM machines, and then they were shot. They were, you know, the women were raped and everything in front of their boyfriends. Did you ever hear about the story? It happened out in, like, the Midwest or something.
Doesn't sound
okay.
familiar.
Well, it didn't fit the narrative, and it's not what the news wanted, the mainstream media wanted to publish, right? Because it was black on white crime, and typically it's black on black and white on white crime. When you look at any statistics, people, you know, I don't know enough black people to get into it. You know, I'm gonna probably get a restraining order from a white chick that I'm dating. That's a joke. But the point is that the only person that covered it, you know, when they covered it as real news or anybody analyzed it, there was that chick, Michelle Malkin, which, you know, she rubs people the wrong way sometimes. But when her story was put out, guess where they put it? It was like a Friday night. It was like you said, page 27, a little anecdotal quarter of a page at the bottom that highlighted it. And the story's out there if you look it up and you look at the details. But again, they ran with other story quickly to cover, you know, it didn't fit their narrative because they don't want people to see that, yeah, when there's an actual crime, it's so much different than the reality of the world that people are getting, you know, along with each other. So now what do we have, you know, in the mainstream media, right? There's always this, well, I'm going to say it outright here. We're on the radio. White Christian heterosexual males have been in the target for 20 years now, at least, maybe more. And you've seen it on shows like Everybody Loves Raymond. The guy's made out to be like a total idiot, yet they live in a beautiful house. He's got a great job. He's like, I think he was a sportscaster or something like that. And every time his wife came in the room, she would, you know, roll her eyes like you're an effing idiot. But yet, you know, I love you somehow, or you should be happy that you got me. You know what I mean? The kids even talk back to the parents on those shows, especially the father. I think it started actually back in the 80s with Family Ties. I don't know if you remember with Michael J. Fox. And, you know, the father on that show was like a total nebbish, you know, and his wife was like, I'm a feminist, hear me roar. So, you know, it's an agenda. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. And it has layers. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, from them tricking you into getting into the military to those television shows, that's for sure. Even there's this book called Dope Sick. They just made a show out of it. And it follows the whole pill mill industry and OxyContin and Purdue company.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's been like a good example is like someone like myself, with the history I have with drugs, I was, you know, duped into that, you could say, right? Well, then there was also like how you said, there's good people everywhere, right? You know, well, there was good doctors too that were tricked by pill pushers, you know, from Purdue reps, being lied to about how they had this miracle drug and were prescribing these drugs to people that they birthed 20 years ago, like family doctors, and they destroyed people's lives and then they got hooked on it themselves, you know? So it's like, there's a lot of layers to all this that just traps people into these little like glass boxes, you know, everybody's in their own little fucking version of hell, you know?
Yep.
And it's all these little psyops and like fear-based mind control shit and the deceptions of the greed for money, you know? Like these pharmaceutical companies, their intentions wasn't to have a miracle drug, you know?
Well, let me just address one thing. I want to come back to what you're saying here, if I may, just so I don't sound like a racist. Just know that even though it's the white man that's the target,
You don't sound racist.
no, I just state something that's needs to be said. But black men in this country have always been on the target. And I mean, before they even shot him up with syphilis after Tuskegee, the black nuclear family was attacked right after the 50s with, everything from Planned Parenthood to, these progressive programs and welfare programs and everything to keep them apart, right? To break up that whole family. So don't think I'm saying that. I'm saying whites and blacks in general could control the country because we got along, we fought alongside each other in every war, and even now our military is primarily and Hispanic who serve our country, not just in working in the fields and doing cheap labor and jobs that they say
MS-13.
But no, I mean, this is all part of it. But they
a lot of MS-13 in the Army, just saying.
Yeah, but the one core thing that they don't want us, the reason why they don't want us to get together, and I'll have to say it, a lot of them are Christian. A lot of them were Christians primarily in those groups, more than any other predominant religion. People were Christian. And so there's a factor there to factor in. But what you're saying too with the drugs, though, I remember seeing that study, and I know a woman who actually was on a case with OxyContin, and how there was like all these problems, not condom, whatever the variant is, but OxyContin itself. And it creates conditions of like spinal meningitis and brain bleeding and all this other stuff. People were getting sick, they wouldn't believe. And, the pharmaceutical companies would either pay people off hush money or bury them in legal costs, and that's what they.
Yeah, they were hiring people from the FDA.
Yeah,
they were buying them out, and we're like, we'll pay you more. You come work with us.
Yeah,
and help us,
it's like a revolving door.
Yeah, the revolving
you would
door.
enter into you'd start off at a pharmaceutical company, and then all of a sudden now you're working for the FDA as people who allow, are in charge of saying whether or not this can be used or not. It's like, come on now, people. That's not, again, it's like a lawyer being a politician. It shouldn't take place. You're on one side of the aisle or you're on the other. You don't get to dance in between and bounce back and forth and make all these behind the door, deals and things like that. Like, they don't even hide bribery anymore in politics. They just gave it a new name. It's called lobbying. My social study teacher taught me this in 6th grade, Mr. Brown. He was a lobbyist himself. And he said the whole system, he taught me this in 6th grade. He said it's all rigged. He's like,
dude, my 7th grade teacher did that to me. I think he had like a midlife crisis, my social studies teacher. And he told all of us, like, it's all rigged, voting doesn't matter. And he's went down the whole electoral college route. Like, I went home telling my mom and dad about, I remember it was during the Bush and Gore bull crap, and dude, it was, my teacher told me the same thing, man. It was great.
And when you tell a young person that stuff, it sticks with them. My mom told me, I asked when George Bush Sr. got caught lying in the late 80s. I was like, well, who's going to be president now? And she just laughed. She's like, oh, no, honey, that's not how it works. They all lie. And as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, so why do you listen to these people at all? If they all lie, then why don't we do something about it? I never understood how that was okay.
Yeah.
And I was the crazy conspiracy theorist after that,
Well, that's because we're in this, it's like that saying from Watchmen when Rorschach's in prison. He's like, I don't think you guys get it. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. So the question is who are we in here with in this biodome?
Huh.
That's one of the
To Austin, I missed the last Melodome, the last couple actually. You guys, I can never stay up to watch the late ones. You guys do.
Yeah, they were great.
Wazoo was
I
good.
just took them down yesterday. The last two. Of course, you can catch all of them over on Odyssey at Awesome Austin channel. But they've been great. We had Zulu 1 and Waters Above on last show, and we usually bring guests. We usually drop the link in the chat, and we ended up having like 6 people. Dawn came on, Mac's friend. Talked about that situation a little bit. Just discuss some memories about Mac and stuff. It was a great time. It was really good energy as always.
That's awesome.
It's been great. I love it.
Yeah, I love you and Christians, the way you guys work together. It's just, it fits. You guys are really good together.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, I love the show, man. And you guys are growing, which is awesome.
Yeah, man, we
you
had
guys,
over 100 people last show.
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, check our show description. There's a link to Austin's YouTube channel. You can find him over there, and in there is links to everywhere else. I was actually pretty lucky to not only remember in time to do it, but add his link to the show description.
Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome.
cool.
Appreciate you and Christian and what you guys do. It's awesome to see you guys get so popular and take off, because it's such a good time
Hey,
when it's a
speaking of
labor of
which,
love.
I got a date pinned for that volume 2 of Breaking the Chains of Addiction. Are you free December 6th?
Yep. What day is it? What day is it?
It is a Wednesday.
Yep, I'll be free.
Okay.
And he's like, yep.
Yep.
What day is that?
So yeah, it'll be volume 2. We're gonna have Jeremy from I Want to Know More. He was on the first one, but he had a bad connection. And I would definitely like to see him share some of his story too. So, because he's already shared it with me, and it's something that I feel like should be heard and would be great to share.
Yeah,
I think I got a lot of good feedback from that, like so much good feedback. It was overwhelming, man. I loved it. And I think it's something that I should keep doing.
Absolutely, man. Well, I think a lot of us in the truth community, no matter what your area of, topic is that you're researching and looking into, I think a lot of us have had this happen to us before. We've all had to fight some sort of an addiction, and we overcame it. That's the thing. Truthers seem to this knack to admit that something is wrong and then change it. Whereas you see a lot of these people that are the sheep, they never get over some of these addictions. I'm not saying they can't or they don't ever, but it seems like almost all the truthers have had an issue in the past with overcoming something that they didn't like about themselves, admitting there was a problem, and then changing it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think this is
the same kind of story I'm noticing is that, I mean, of course, every story is different, but to generalize it up a little bit, like to relate it back to the truth community, it's like, and I can relate to this big time, is it's like my addiction went into knowing the truth, whether it was any deception, it just morphed into something else. Like I knew what I had all kinds of problems. Obviously, you guys heard some of them, you listening. And when I was able to take the reins of that, and I was able to focus my energy into other things, and creating my family and all these things that me and my wife have been doing, and then what me and Christian are doing with this show, it's just it's manifesting out pretty well. And I see that with a lot of people. It's like they start focusing on something else, all this stuff changes them, and then it helps them along with their journey. And just going through that kind of trauma, really, you come out with a different set of eyes on the other end anyway. So it's like you're kind of built for this, it's weird.
Well, it's that real. I was just we only got 30 seconds or so before we hit the break, but yeah, cognitive dissonance was my new drug. I loved getting information that just went so far against what I inherently believed to be true that it created this disconnect in my brain. That's what I was looking for. So if that's what you like, stick around. Right on the other side of the breaks, hopefully we'll have a little cog dis served up just for you. This is the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. We'll be right back.
Is this the part where we pretend that we're not here?
I think so. Josh might not even be here. We're running to get a coffee.
Get ready to get coffee.
That's what I'm gonna get right now. I'm gonna go fill up.
Man, you guys keep talking about it. I'm gonna tip off the phone. I can't make it here.
Near-Earth asteroid is a fragment away from the moon.
Shouldn't gravity pull it into the moon then? I know. We can cover space lettuce. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. Always, isn't there?
Yeah, it's someone's job to be as just ignorant as they possibly can coming up with this stuff. They're even questioning themselves in the headlines now. We got a couple headlines that have may and if right in the headline. They don't even wait.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to get dark and dirty or down on everything this morning.
Yeah. It all had a happy ending. I knew you'd like that.
I've been up since 3:30. I got up to take a piss, man. I'm just like, should I go back to sleep? And the answer was yes, but I didn't. I started scrolling on my phone.
Yeah, I saw midnight.
Huh?
For sure. I was up past midnight. I took a nap yesterday, like an idiot.
Yeah. I know it's about around maybe 11. I don't remember. But I was out, you know. And then I woke up only because I had to go to the bathroom. And it's funny when I take not Tylenol, Advil, whatever that's, ibuprofen. I'll just sleep all the way through 8 hours. No problem. I'm like, where's the urgency then?
Yeah, I don't ever get 8 hours.
Yeah. No, it's rare. Trust me, it's rare. I'm not sleeping in my own bed, so.
You know, all I need is, well, really about 3-4 hours. And then a nap.
I was going to say, yeah, solid 4 does me good. If I sleep 8 or more, it means I'm sick. I'm fighting something. And that's like, I have to run down my body, something fierce. If I'm doing something,
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Dark matter.
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Lettuce from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
for you.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the screaming goat, but I've got fat fingers and a bit of arthritis, and they just aren't as ambidextrous as they used to be. Welcome back to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Josh and Zach hanging out this morning. We are joined not only by awesome Austin, but we got Jonathan from Jersey hanging out with us again this morning. And we are having just some kick-ass conversations, I do say. And damn it. You know what? This was right here. This is what this was supposed to be, just because I don't really care. Not one bit do I care. That was weird.
Yeah.
That's a little cat scratch fever from Ted Nugent, just for Mr. Walter
That's
Johnson.
all I was thinking about when you said that, Zach, earlier. I kept playing that song in my head. You know, I hear that at work. I got live music every day. So I hear that song at least one time each night. So
I've had the pleasure of tearing up some backcountry roads on a motorcycle listening to that song.
Walt told me about it yesterday, and that's all that was going through my head the whole time. Yeah, I used to play pool a lot, to where I had my own two-piece pool cue. Well, this one girl, when I'd be playing her boyfriend, I always beat him, and we always played for money. And she'd be over there singing Zach Scratch Fever, trying to get me to scratch.
Oh, that's funny, man. I like that.
Yeah, she was like his decoy. The only thing was I knew her since I was like 3 years old. She lived in the next street over.
Yeah.
So she couldn't get to me, you know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Zach Scratch Fever was what that goes out to Roberta, Miss Robin.
Zach Scratch Fever. That's funny, man. I used to run some full halls and shit and play. So yeah, we gotta talk. That's funny.
Oh, so what were we talking about right before the break? I got a coffee, and it seems like an hour ago now.
Fuck if I know.
Yep. Well, let's jump into something new. You want to rip on NASA a little bit?
Before we rip on NASA, let's do a little segue, because we're going to get into some space lettuce, some news stories. And I really hate to do it, but it's not often I have to yell at my radio, because I don't listen to Pandora to and from work. For whatever reason, I actually listen to the radio. So I was listening, and they were playing some clips talking about this trial going on up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Right.
Oh, geez. Oh, boy.
About this young guy who went from Illinois to Wisconsin to protect businesses in Wisconsin.
His dad lives there.
Well,
go ahead.
So they were playing sound bites of people that were ripping on this young cat. This guy named Kyle. Kyle Rittenhouse is his name. And this was one of the clips that they played. And it just it was when I heard it that I started yelling at my radio, because it's completely out of context. What I hear, like for Space Lettuce, when I hear things on the radio, my interpretation of them is completely different from the intended interpretation on either way, and sort of regardless of the context. I get my whole other interpretation out of the shit that I hear on the radio, which is sort of why I like to listen to it. Let's see, where is it? Oh, okay. Damn it. There we go. And God, I hate this woman. In front of me with. Well, that went way back far, didn't it? So they were covering his appearance, his testimony at his own trial.
What did you think of the testimony?
No, this is on The View. So this is going to be Joy Behar.
From what I'm gleaning from this case, the guy goes across state lines with an AR-15 with his mother and some other idiot in the car to defend himself against what? They're having a protest in another state, and he takes it upon himself to go there, and then he says it's self-defense. No.
That's what pissed me off. I heard
She's
that.
a lying sack of crap.
You know what that is? You know what she just described? Our foreign policy. Explain to me. Yesterday, of all days, for me to hear those words strung together in that particular way, just about sent me over the edge. What do you mean? Oh, he went across state lines with a gun, and then he claimed self-defense? Why were we in Afghanistan or Iraq or Kuwait or Vietnam or Korea or World War II why have we been in any war whatsoever? Go ask any veteran why the fuck he joined up. It's so that he can go overseas to fight for our rights. Bitch, my rights have never been overseas. My rights stay right here where I am. Nobody's gone overseas to protect my rights because my rights have only been here.
Yeah, my rights don't apply in Afghanistan.
Well, the Russians warned us. Warned us not to go.
Well, they should. They definitely should. The rights that I live by, that I exercise, definitely should be over there in Afghanistan, and they should be recognized. And I'm all for Afghanis standing up to motherfuckers that don't want to let them exercise their God-given rights. Do it. You got a shit ton of AK-47s. Grab one and fucking defend your rights. Do it.
If you're following this case, though, I mean, you know that this kid, like I said, he was visiting his dad, who was in Kenosha. He was on the junior police force, you know, and a safety cadet. And he was actually
Wasn't he like a lifeguard? He was
he
all
has all
kinds
these
of stuff in the community.
Yeah.
He was like he was an Eagle Scout pretty much.
Yeah, basically. And even earlier that day, he was like, he was painting walls that had been vandalized. You know, he was actually protecting the community. And then you actually see the video. I mean, the FBI withheld video too, those scumbags, from the drone footage. And you see one of the dudes, Rosenbaum, the guy he killed, was a convicted pedophile. And he's chasing him down the street. And earlier that day, the guy was recorded as saying, you know, I'm going to kill anybody who goes up against us. Specifically, I think this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse. And so you see one part where he throws like a Molotov cocktail at him. Rittenhouse ducks it, goes over him. And then he keeps on pursuing them. You know, I mean, they were coming at him strong, you know, skateboard. Another guy did a running jump kick. It's a famous move by the certain community. And, you know, here he is on the ground. And I think one of his bullets, they were talking about that today. The one inconsistency was about this bullet that possibly was a misfire because they're using cheap ammo that you use at the range. And you see him like pause for a second, cock the chamber, you know, one round. And then he blew that guy's hand off because the guy had his gun pointing right at him. Weird thing about that is when you look at that, the guy was still holding the gun, you know, when he shot his supposed hand off. So there's a lot of inconsistency, but every single news media has only highlighted, like Josh just played. Even the testimonies of the people on stand, they'll say, you know, the guy who actually came at him, he says, so-and-so feared for his life as this man pointed an assault rifle at him. And, you know, sensationalized crap. So, yeah, I can imagine. I would love to see Josh angry at something like that. I've never seen you angry.
I mean, it's. I don't even particularly care about the trial itself. It's, you know, it is what it is. I didn't particularly think the kid was guilty from the get-go. I think
shouldn't have made trial. A lot of people saying it shouldn't even made trial.
Any guilt he may have had, I think, at least some of it should have been offset by what he was doing there and his intention and you know, the facts behind the case. And they might try to catch him on some weird weapons charge or something, but I don't think he's going to get convicted of murder or anything. I really don't.
No, this is a very peculiar case, and the people that are analyzing it, I was watching it live, and there was 6 people who were all legal pundits and whatnot, and they were watching it, and they're just like, there's so many inconsistencies. Both the prosecution and the defense have made mistakes, but the prosecutors are just bumbling idiots, and they've been yelled at by the judge, and it's comical if it wasn't so serious, you know, what this kid could get, you know, faced with.
Yeah, I saw that. The judge was not happy. We'll just say pissed. No. I mean, he was laying into this guy like, this has been practiced for 50 years this way in this country. I know you know this. I know what you're taught it, you know.
Oh, his Fifth Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to understand that, and the prosecution is questioning his Fifth Amendment rights as to why he remained silent until he had legal counsel. And it's like, that's 101 stuff that you learn first year of law school. Like, you don't question that. But they're trying to insinuate and put in the Joey's mind that he was guilty. That's why he didn't speak to the police. No, it's because the police are fucking corrupt and twisting words.
Yeah, because anything you say can and will be used against you.
Yeah, they tell you straight up in the Miranda. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are too stupid.
And then one more thing.
Your Fifth Amendment right is so important, it's not even funny. What's that?
So then one more thing, just so I can get it off of the checklist in my brain. When we came to America, to start America, we had to get a loan, you see, because you couldn't just pile up supplies and cross the ocean and come to the New World to set up a new civilization, to spread your British imperialism, right? You had to take a loan out, which usually came from the crown, right? So after we got here, we decided, you know what? We need to be independent. And we fight the War of Independence, and we win the War of Independence, and then we start paying back the loan that we took out from the crown. You know, the enemy that just lost the war, that's who we're paying back.
Yeah.
How much sense does that make? If we had really lost the war, would we be paying back that loan?
Yeah, don't the winners just kind of get to say, "Yep, we're not going to pay you now."
That's right. We won. Fuck off. Go away now.
We won. Yeah, we won. So you lost. So
he said they won economically. I always thought it was a farce.
So it's almost as if there was people representing the crown that were over here already, right?
Yep.
So when you start saying names like Benjamin Franklin, is he a founding father or is he an esquire? Is he a crowned attorney? Is he here working for the king, for the crown, in this War of Independence?
Was George Washington the first president?
And you listen, as much as people talk about the Constitution, how beautiful it is, and this and that, and the Bill of Rights, the bottom line is there's a big difference between, natural law and, what's natural and what's legal.
That's right.
And so we had a legal system put in place, period.
Well, yeah, because we don't act as men and women.
Well,
we
straw
act
men.
as corpses, as corporations,
Correct.
dead entities.
Correct.
So yeah, in their world of commerce, you're not even alive. Those rights don't apply to you because you're not a living thing in their world.
Right.
Yeah. Things need a big overhaul in every area. There needs to be a huge overhaul. Language, the English language needs to be uncompartmentalized between all these different branches of, technology and science and all these. Geologists and gemologists use totally different language. That makes no sense. They're both talking about the same thing. How, rocks form and the creation of crystals and this and that. They don't even use the same. They don't want these people talking to each other. There's so much that needs to change. We got a long road ahead of us before, I don't think there is any sit back and relax period in life when you're talking about, creating a civilization and then maintaining it. Maintaining it's the hard part.
This is part of the reason why they're doing a mass execution around the world while they're trying to lower the numbers, because if everybody awakens at once, it's not going to be utopia. It's going to be anything but. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be everybody for themselves. It's going to be, like Mad Max times 10, much worse. So they're hedging their bets and they're eliminating people that it's easier to control the masses if there's less mass. And that's the bottom line. And then after that, you might see the Constitution and other things disappear as we move into metaverses and flat Earth and everything else. I mean, this is, again, part of the things I used to talk about with Mark. And like, dude, you're really pushing up the timeline. They weren't ready for disclosure yet. I mean, they have this Agenda 2030 they have to complete, and then flat Earth. But hey, go for it.
So you think they're going to start assimilating flat Earth, and they're going to throw out this?
Well, the metaverse is flat. Metaverse is a flat place. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is once you're in the metaverse. It's typically flat.
Well, you're talking about the metaverse. I'm not going to no metaverse.
That's what they want, though. They want us all like hooked up like The Sims.
No,
You
large
stay in
portion.
your little box. You know, you don't
Yeah,
even
large
leave your little.
portion are going there. They're doing it now. They're just doing it externally. They're doing it through TikTok, social media, Instagram. But they're just gonna, put on glasses, and that's about, the next iteration of it. It's Web 3.0.
right.
It's Web 4.0 actually.
You want to go see the Taj Mahal? You don't have to leave your room.
Yeah, right.
You can.
Get ready.
You don't even have to move. Yeah.
For a small
Exactly.
subscription fee, you can go anywhere in the world you'd like.
But the question is now you start talking about, again, jurisdiction and everything else. Like, what is that place? Who owns that space? Are you on a server? Same thing with having graphene oxide inside of you. And if your mRNA, changes your RNA and DNA structure, how much of yourself are you, or are you under ownership of something else? And if you interface with the metaverse, what are you then? There's a million things that they've already, written laws to and designs on. And the best way to, not be a part of it is stay out of it, but then you're excluded and you're on the outside, It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get so effing ugly over the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to make moves. So I'm not gonna get caught up in that metaverse shit. Hell no.
Yeah, learn how to garden and all that kind of good stuff. The best thing we can do is to not have to become part of the metaverse, is to be able to, care for ourselves.
Dude, when you say learn how to garden, picture something like the movie Divergent or The Hunger Games or In Time, because anything outside those walls, you see the chemtrails are spraying and all that, and they've been doing it for years. They did it in a grid pattern to see how the jet stream.
Well, it's like happening now. We already got like regions, and
Well, you see what
the major cities are the ones. It comes first.
Yeah, you see the carbon dioxide thing that they're pumping out of the ground and cutting the food supply and everything else, and then making a lot of land in America like national forests, and then coordinating it off.
Not just national forest, because national forest is good. That's public land for everybody. It can't be turned private, but they're closing off all the access paths and things like that. People who used to go and pick mushrooms out in the national forest, every week, can no longer do that because trails are closed off. Thousands and thousands of miles of trails have been shut down. That's our land. And now they're telling us we can't even walk through it. I'm not asking to pitch, set up shop and start living out there or even camp out there. But to say I can't walk on our land.
I had some woman tell me yesterday she's going to go hunt deer, right? We were sitting around a campfire and I laughed. I was like, yeah, you and all the other men I know in this county that already hunt on a regular basis every season. I said, what makes you think there's going to be anything left when everybody's out hunting because nobody's working? You're not going to hunt shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to fish. There's a lot of things you're not going to do. So I'm sorry. This isn't Mad Max World. This isn't a movie or a video game. You're going to be lucky. Luck is going to play a major part into it. Yes, if you have skills, you might survive a little bit longer. But guess what? A stray bullet or somebody who's smart, knows how to hunt, is going to hunt humans as well. And that's the bottom line. In that kind of scenario, I'm not saying we're going to that despotic future. I'm saying, but that's how it would actually look. It wouldn't be pretty. It wouldn't be glamorized. Charlize Theron isn't showing up looking hot with a bunch of Victoria's Secrets models in a truck like a modern.
I don't know how much I agree with that, because I think for the most part, people are good people. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't really see, I don't know. I don't tend to think that way, bro. I don't think we're gonna go that route at all.
No, that's the scenario. But I'm saying if you have an area that people are hunting, and you're talking about people that
look how many people are fighting back right now just with this jibby jab shit. They exempted truckers, they exempt the airlines because of what they've done. I don't see. I feel like they're losing it. Kind of they rushed it, I feel like. And a part of me feels like the flat earth movement made them force their hand. I could be way off, but I don't know. I just tend to think that there's a lot of good things coming. I mean, even normies are realizing that what they're seeing on TV is becoming bullshit. I understand they're all still wrapped up in that stuff, and would still believe some other network. But, people are getting there. I work with a lot of normies, and we're on the same page. They might still think they're on a spinning ball, but they don't want any of this. Like this whole, I understand this next generation. It's all about, the metaverse stuff, but even that, like, people are good people. I don't see chaos. They like to create chaos, but then, I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. I'm there with you, man. I think that way. I think of all that too. It's just I don't see that for us necessarily. Maybe other people who have no idea what's ahead, that have no clue and no base in reality at all. There's people out there they're completely lost already and detached from the real world. And when real world hits them, they can't even cope with it. But people like us, I think, whether it'll be like a designated fucking area, if you want to say it on grand scale, the way they already have that set up right now, but we can create, a great place for people,
what the problem is? What you're saying is true to a degree. But when there's no electricity and there's no more fucking toilet paper and there's no more food on the shelves, you're going to see civility run out within about a month. Okay? People that aren't.
Yeah, and I feel like they're going to eat themselves, like those people will eat themselves up. And my goal is to get out of that, like we'll see that in the major cities for sure. And I'm nowhere near a major city,
Well, that's the difference too. If you're out in Texas or somewhere where there's land and your neighbors and things like that, you can farm, you can trade. All I'm saying is, I've told a lot of people, if you're going to prep and you're going to do all this, make sure you're ready to isolate for a good 3 months or 6 months until the majority kill themselves off, run out of food or run out of whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been stocking up on canned goods. I've been stocking up on. I buy packs of water. I got the hallway between my garage and my house, like a wall of water. So I'm right there with you. But then there's people that are completely oblivious to what's going on. So, and I think those are the ones that are gonna lose their fucking minds.
There's a whole other component.
Get a couple books.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get books too, man. Absolutely, dude. I'm right there with you. That's gonna be very valuable.
You can't carry all these canned goods with you, and this, when you're hoofing it, you don't want more than, depending on your size and all that stuff, you don't want to try to carry around more than 30, 40 pounds with you. It's going to get heavy real quick.
Right.
But
even 40 pounds, 40 pounds on your back 40, after 3 miles.
Yeah, you don't. Mm-hmm. So, but a book that tells you, hey, I can eat that plant, I can't eat that plant, but I can eat that one and that one and that one. That's something that you have food pretty much all the time. If you have ground beneath your feet that isn't covered in concrete, then there's a good chance you're going to find some kind of food there that you can eat. So that's always one of my main things that I tell everybody to put into their bug out bag, because yeah, it's great to be prepared, but you may have to get up and go right now. So it's good to have knowledge with you on what is edible and what is not.
Thank you guys so much for backing me up. These are all conversations I had with 2 separate normies yesterday, because they can kind of see shit and how things can go bad and where things would go if they did go bad. And they were talking about, I'll just get a bunch of, cans of beans. I'm like, oh no, you don't want cans. So things, when you have to leave, when it's time to leave, I said, you don't want to be carrying around cans of beans. So we were talking MREs, and then I said, knowledge. I said, knowledge is going to be your most important investment. I said, read as much as you can, learn and practice so that you know that you can do it and how to do it under pressure when the time comes and it counts. That's going to be the most valuable asset you have when it's time to bug in, when things go south, and then when things start to calm down and you can bug out again. And we're going to bug out right now for the third break. 4th and final segment coming up right after this. All right, the studio's gone. Now we can talk for another 3 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, I had Waters Above on last show, and she said something that resonated with me because I'm losing the house and I got to move and stuff. And I have even my parents like junk because this was their house and stuff, right? And she said, when you own possessions, your possessions end up owning you, and I have young children, so I'm really looking for a home base, but the whole needing to get up and go, I am definitely not prepared for that. Like if shit were to hit the fan and I needed to go, like, that would be a big thing for me, like with my children and stuff. And that's why I'm trying to, when I move, I'm looking for something with land, and I'm in talks with a couple people within the community to do something together, and we're looking for places and,
Yeah, what needs to happen is we have to have some people pull together that are willing to get, a nice plot of land, 50 acres plus, and get an allodial title to where that land is owned.
What kind of title?
It's called an allodial title, where you don't pay taxes on it. You don't have to get permits. It's not zoned commercial, agricultural, or industrial. It's zoned private. The government gives you this little plaque that says this land will hereby and forever be owned by Austin and his family henceforth from this day forward, or something like that.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, you have to apply. It's not something
Right.
that you go and they show you on the piece of paper. Ooh, an allodial deed. What's that? I'm going to check off. No, it's not anything like that. You get a lawyer. They do a bunch of paperwork. It's like $4,000 to apply, and they can deny you. So yeah, but more and more people are learning how to do it. There's a process out there that's working, and people are getting these a lot more now. But
Well,
yeah, we have the right to own our land. You have the right to say, okay, now the police and all the people like that won't come out. You generate your own electricity. You take care of your own septic. You strike a deal with the police or with the fire department, both, and say, hey, I'll give you guys $20 a month. If something happens, come on out. We'll call you.
You don't get like municipal services or anything from the
Yeah.
state.
You have to take care of your own self while you're on that land. But, it's your land. You have mining rights, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it just proves to you
definitely
right there.
Something. Oh, sorry.
When the leaders came to America, and Josh, you made a good point about borrowing money to get set up here. It's like this land was already occupied, not owned by, but occupied by the Indians, who were
Right.
really savages when you really look into it.
The real Americans, quote unquote.
Well, they weren't peaceful like they make out in the fucking movies either. They were attacking each other. They destroy every area they were in and then move on. I mean, they weren't as, these beautiful little Pocahontases and shit. Just like
they were
everybody
human
in India
beings.
is.
Yeah, they were.
No,
I think they were
everybody in
more
India
advanced
wasn't a
then than
Buddhist.
we are now. Honestly, I think I think the whole story is bullshit. I don't even believe any of that, really.
I could see some of it being real, just the fact that we did have this huge cataclysm. If we did,
right,
that I could see people turn back to living on the land like that and traveling with their food, and
but I don't think they were
some
like
of it.
savages like they claim them to.
No, they spoke, very. I mean,
They had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, they knew more about the plants of North America than we know now, for sure.
Oh yeah, no, they weren't technologically advanced, but I mean, they were more advanced than people in Africa.
Yeah, they were smart people. They had a society going.
It was a different type of technology back then. Like
it was
what we
more connected
think of as technology.
Yeah.
No, but the point I'm saying is when we came here, when the feudal, the different kings and queens and whoever came here and claimed land. I mean, look, Napoleon owned a good third of America, and he sold it. But like he owned it, and who was he? He was, was Napoleon a king or a queen?
No.
By blood?
I don't think so. I think he just declared himself emperor. No.
Right. But yet, how did he acquire all that land and maintain all that land in America for a time?
Well, it's like
what we want.
They're like Federal Reserve note credits that the Federal Reserve Bank creates. It wasn't something that he took and maintained. It was just sort of numbers on a sheet that he claimed to be his. Oh yeah, and I have all that land out there, over there in the Atlantic, or over there in the Pacific, depending on which way you want to get to it. But it's not like it was his that he had anything to do with. It maintained itself. It existed, and he claimed it, and that was about the extent of it. And anybody that challenged his claims, well, was met with Napoleon's army.
But I'm saying, even the idea, and even with the allodial title, I get it. I've heard about it. I studied it. The Dorian group was trying to do it. But the thing is, the idea of owning anything on Earth, which is a temporal place, you're born and you're already dying, all right? It's kind of silly that anybody can own anything here. I know we have contracts and agreements and shit, but it's all bullshit. The only thing you own are your dreams, right? Your inner space, your journey, yourself. You don't own anything here. It's an illusion, and you're burdened by it.
Well, I think that's the great thing about that allodial title too, is that what it does, it doesn't necessarily enforce your claim to own it, but it does minimize anybody else's.
I'll tell you what, I'll bet it opens it up to if you can defend it, you can keep it. Because if somebody has a piece of property and they say, look, I got this allodial title, it says it's mine, you shoot them in the fucking head, you sign your name to it, say, well, it's mine now. Right? There's no government jurisdiction. You just fought for it.
Federal law? There's squatters' rights. If you maintain a property for 7 years without the owner, declaring this is challenging it, then it's yours.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I've never really looked too deeply into it.
It's funny you say that. Wait a minute. There's a house in my dad's development that's been there for 7 years at least. The guy never goes down there to it. It's just sitting there. Maybe I should just say I've been sitting here. I've been squatting here for 7 years. I'm claiming it. I'll live right next door to my dad. They'll love that. Anyway, are we back on the air yet?
No, I forgot.
We've been on. I think we've been live the whole time.
We've been live the whole time everywhere except TFR, because I forgot that I kicked them out. Sorry.
No, I don't want you to think I'm doom and gloom. I'm just saying that looking at human behavior. Don't forget, the military and the governments have dumbs all over the place. So don't think they're going to be on the surface when this shit goes down. Whether it's a ELE or some other kind of event, they're going to let the masses, do whatever the hell. Zombie apocalypse meets whatever.
When the shit goes down, you better be ready. You better be ready.
Citrus Hill?
Yep. That's the one, Citrus Hill.
I watched some movie the other day, and this crackhead sitting there that the guy was talking to, it was a comedy part. He's like, the band Citrus Hill, right? When the shit goes down. Movies just aren't the same. I was talking about that with somebody the other day. Where are all the great family comedies?
Because it's all CGI now. It's all artificial. It's all cartoons now. Even when they're acting, they got like all this CG stuff on them, and
Yeah, they just don't do the. And when I see old CGI now, it's so obvious. It's crazy. Did you see SpaceX is CGI?
Oh my gosh.
Those? Or no, not SpaceX. Blue Origin was CGI-ing the photos of Bezos and what's his name? The fat little guy that from Star Trek.
Yeah. Shatner.
There you go.
Shatner.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, if their heads are photoshopped onto just a body.
Same body.
The same exact shadows and ripples in the outfit. There's like 8 circles that the guy points out on their chest, where the shadows and the ripples in the suit are the exact same. It's the same picture, just with a different name on there. And then a different head.
That's funny.
That's how fake all this stuff is. They can't even get a real photo of Shatner in the jumpsuit. It's crazy. How hard would that be?
You remember that movie a couple years ago with Sandra Bullock?
Gravity.
What was it?
Gravity.
No. Where everybody's wearing blindfolds. Bird Box or something.
Bird Box.
No, I didn't see that one.
You never saw that? It was a big TV event. Everybody was watching it.
It was like some horror movie, right?
It was a horror. Like something was present, and if you looked at it, you got crazed by it or whatever, and wound up trying to kill yourself. But like if you had a blindfold on, you could navigate around life, and you'd be fine, to a degree. And it made me think, like, would that be the equivalent of an end of the world type of event? And then what it is if you look at it for what it is, to see it, the reality of it will be such a shock to the system that people would, instead of you saying like, scavenge and try to survive, would possibly kill themselves, like, because they'd be so overwhelmed by the immensity of it. People that are incapable of survival without modern technology. Because as much as you can give them a book and say, here, go forage. I know around here, like I know a lot of places, especially cold weather places, like good effing luck. Some people don't even know where food comes from.
That's why I moved down south.
Yeah, and I had the same idea with Florida, but at the same time, I got my son up here. There's a multitude of things. I mean, you can survive in any climate if you're smart enough. But I'm just thinking that movie was all, pointing towards that having a blinder on, having a blindfold on. If you can stay calm and stay centered and stay inward, you're fine. But if you view the reality around you, you're going to be so overwhelmed by it. You know what I mean? Because it's too much. It's overwhelming.
Well, yeah, that's another part of it, is the mental aspect of it. I've been preparing myself since 2008. Yeah. I had this mindset that this could happen, and I'm going to have to keep my wits about me when it does. And it's not a thought you have once a month, once every few months. It's almost an everyday thought, really.
Well, I think that's what you were alluding to, Austin. I mean, having the mental, spiritual centeredness to be intrinsically good. But if you don't have that, then you're going to act like a savage. You're going to act nuts.
It's like the swim qualifications. I mentioned this last week, I think. It's like the swim qualifications in the military. For somebody that doesn't know how to swim, things are okay for about 15 seconds. Then they realize that they're going to start drowning, and they realize they don't know how to keep themselves afloat. And then they start going down, and the brain just takes over, and they panic, and they start grasping at whatever's around them to try to keep themselves afloat. And pretty soon they've drowned like 4 people trying to save themselves. And I think there's a lot of people that will do that regardless, especially when shit hits the fan. They're going to panic, and they're going to do more harm than good.
Right.
Dude, didn't you see that with the toilet paper thing last year? That was all a social exercise that they ran. And the same thing that they're doing now with the scarcity, with these things, the boats at the ports and stuff. They're testing people's resiliency.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
And as Daz would say, we create the world around us. You have to put it out there that you're going to be in a position where this isn't going to take place. You got to know that. It's good to be prepared, but you can't dwell on it and create it.
Right. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm just saying it's a topic.
No, I know. No. Yeah, I'm not saying anything specifically towards you, Jonathan. I'm just throwing that out there as well. As being prepared is great, and keeping, a small portion focus on what you would do in this situation. But you don't want to dwell on it so much that you actually bring it about.
I'm saying
I'm almost happy there's so many.
And these powers that be, they know that. They know that we have that power, and they hijacked and are using our own power against us with this programming and the brainwashing and the fear-based mind control. We're literally creating the reality that they want for us, like they pump that fear on the television. We see it, we turn around and project that shit into the world along with everybody else, and then it becomes a real thing.
So, I think that's the hidden knowledge that the elite have. I think that's why they control us, why they don't just kill us all off, right? Why it's a soft kill Holocaust and not a hard kill Holocaust where they just wipe out 60% of the population in order to maintain their ideal population. They realize, I think, that once we all get on that same wavelength, they're fucked, because we will literally create our own realities and they will have no power. Right now, we allow them to create our realities, and they have hijacked that and they've assumed that authority. I think they carried this information over from that last reset, and they let things kind of blossom and develop a little bit while they hid after that reset. And pretty soon they come crawling out from the grounds, probably somewhere in the north is where they hid. And you can see sort of this mentality from this sort of Native American, this heathenistic being in touch with the nature that we've had to learn to live with now after this massive reset. And then here comes this other way of thinking. Haha, we've got all this technology that we can still remember, that we can still use, and we can use against all these people who have no idea what happened before, but we remember. And now we can use this technology and this way of thinking, this manifest destiny that we will spread across the land, and we will be in power once again. Or now it'll be our turn to be in power. And as long as we don't let them all get on this same wavelength, where there's sort of this worldwide telepathy, that 12th monkey, and then everything starts to flip and it all just sort of domino effects out of control. We will maintain this control through fear and division and assumed authority and monopoly on violence. And we will make sure that we stay in this control. And in this way, we can go through and stamp out all these stupid little heathens, and we will spread our new version of more control and what's going to happen in the afterlife, and tell them where they really came from. And we'll just spin this whole web of lies. We will corrupt the very foundation of their knowledge so that they will never be able to reassert the control that they possess. I think there's a whole lot of that there. But that's, again, just my personal point of view, with which I have nothing to actually back it up, because it's a conglomeration of lots of different information and then a little bit of critical thinking that I've done on my own. Sort of like that Joy Behar clip. What pissed me off had nothing to do with her clip, had nothing to do with what she was talking about, had nothing to do with the context of the host playing her clip to sort of show how disgusting Joy Behar is, and she is a pretty disgusting cunt. Agreed. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, we've only got about 10 minutes left, and I just ranted for like 2 of them.
I love it.
Well, opinions expressed by Josh are not necessarily those.
Here is where the tie-in is. I was angry at work, not yesterday, the day before, because of them wanting to sodomize me and not asking me for their exemption, and me expecting to exempt myself for them to sodomize me, and all these. I was just getting heated. It was just sort of a thing that I didn't keep in control.
They're asking you to take the shot?
Nope. Because when I went in yesterday, I walked in the front doors. It was a good drive there. I walked in. I'm like, oh, fuck. That's right. This place. Now that I'm back, I remember I'm pissed because this place. Now, fuck no. Happiness is a choice. And I stopped myself. And this is sort of the tie-in, is because I had to tell myself, no, that's not the day I'm going to have. I'm not going to be pissed off today. My stress levels do not need to be high over all this silly shit. I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be quiet. And I'm going to be happy, because I will not let myself get angry over this shit. I'm going to have a good day, because my happiness is my choice, and I'm not going to let it happen. And you know what? My day was not horrible. it wasn't a bad day.
You sound like you're about 2 weeks away from a falling down moment. It's coming.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You forgot your briefcase.
I get that. And let me go ahead and reiterate this. I am in no way near homicidal or suicidal, right? So everyone is safe, up to and including myself. From myself anyway. No, I think that I sort of I exist in that falling down moment is sort of the subtext of everything I do. It's there. It's always below the surface, right? But that's the beast I've learned to control. I can calm that beast. I can chill that beast out. I've had my semi falling down moments. I've hit, my rock bottom to the point where I've had completely enough.
So you're like the Hulk in the modern sense.
Exactly.
Like, how do you control him? I'm always angry.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's why it's hard for me to have these conversations with normies, because of my passion. Because my passion can come through as anger because that anger is there.
No, I get it. You and I can be raw. We could all be raw.
Yeah.
Like, we understand each other. Doesn't mean we're going to act on it. It's just like a psychiatrist understands their client or patient. Doesn't mean they condone their behavior. They just understand it.
Well, I do tend to come across as sort of angry and aggressive when I talk about this. My passion, because men have been cut for so long. No, because I am a passionate person. Sometimes passion can look like anger, especially when you're passionate about not being violated physically.
Bro, I got that my whole life. People say, "Why are you so angry?" It's like, I don't think you understand the difference between anger and passion. Like, right. This isn't angry. If you want to see angry, I'll scare the crap out of you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Be really happy that you don't know what I look like when I'm angry, because that shit will freak you out. Because that's that demon that I've learned to suppress. That's that Hulk that I can tame. But once he comes out, I shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
My face becomes dark. My brows become furrowed. It's like Gandalf when he had to yell at Bilbo, yeah.
Let's put it this way. I still have a kill list somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but I have it. I didn't throw it in the fire yet.
The list is out there, folks. Be warned.
I figured they had it over there on that one website. What's that website called? They kept kicking you off on.
What, Facebook?
No, the other one. The forum, the conspiracy forum one that was
public.
There we go, GLP, yeah.
Well, there are a lot of folks in the chat that are sharing your sentiment, Josh. That they too are happy that that angry thing that's inside of them, they can control it as well. Because a lot of people they're just speaking for me as well. Yep, exactly. Flat in Western Maryland.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's my non-aggressive weapon.
I feel guilty, like I showed up and I got you guys egged on this morning.
That's all right.
Oh yeah, I'm not getting a nap in right away. That's for sure. I already started the alchemy set going. I got it bubbling right now.
I'm gonna go get.
Dude, I was looking at that when you were showing it off. That was cool.
Yeah, I think I got it tuned in pretty well now. I'm cooking with gas. I took my acetylene torch, and I just didn't hook up the oxygen because it's not like a regular propane torch that's, I can just make a nice little small flame, and then control the size of it with this. So my heat, I'm not wasting nearly as much heat as I was when I was using the hot plate, and the cold water condenser is working great. So yeah, I'm still learning about like how much you put in there, water compared to plant matter and this and that. I'm fine tuning it, but I'm starting to get it down now. I can get it going and learning how to hold on to the essential oils while letting the water evaporate, and just I'm trying not to read either. Go online and look stuff up. I'm trying to do this, it'll tell me what it needs and I'll learn through mistakes. That's, how an alchemist does it. It can be different because our intents may be different. I go at it as the intent that I am putting into all of this is the most important aspect. Doesn't matter what plants I use, they're going to do what I intend them to do. I could take grass clippings and turn it into a healing elixir because that's what I intended to do.
Ooh, that was an awkward mispress.
Wow.
Wrong keyboard. My bad. Sorry, Zach.
I thought that was pretty good, Josh.
That's fun.
But yeah, it's all about intent, folks. It's, we have power here. We do. And our intentions I think control a lot more than we give them credit. And maybe that's why, when I put intent into things, it works because I know it's there. I don't think it, I know it. I know what I'm doing is changing this object that I'm creating. You can do it too. I know it because I've already done it. So it's easy for me. What you need to do is try it. Give it a chance. So much of it is people say, well, that won't work, but they never try it.
That's what I did with my garden and the plants I had growing outdoors. It was just trial and error. Fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've lived the last 20 years of my life. Yeah, what's up, Jonathan?
Your rant would have been great if you were playing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Well, this is why I say we need to have politicians with some consequences. You can run for public service, but if you fuck it up, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be held accountable. There's accountability. It's just like the military. That's why we got to talk about Corey Kell next show. Tuesday. I'd love to. There's going to be a lot of videos coming out trying to explain what he's saying in layman's terms so we can all understand it. Yeah, but I really do. I see what's going on, what he's talking about, and I think he's spot on. That's just my 2 cents. I get it.
I'm going to start.
I know it's.
I'm going to start sharing his stuff with people at my work and let them take a look at it and see what they come up with, because they don't need the layman's terms. We deal in the terms to which he's using. So I think it's going to be really interesting to have some of these people take a look at it, and I'm going to get their reactions and see what they have to say. So far, it's just the other guy that grows flowers. Do what?
They're going to get fired is what you're going to do.
Look, I've managed to make it this long.
I'm surprised, man.
You and I both. I mean, given the fact that, well, I don't want to give them anywhere to look. Anyway, what else was I going to say? I was going to say one more thing.
So Austin,
I forgot it. Go ahead.
Oh,
nope.
I was just going to say, man, let everybody know.
Yes.
Where they can find you. All the stuff.
Awesome Austin on YouTube. Awesome Austin on Odyssey. On Odyssey is where every Melodome episode is. All of them. We keep it uncensored, and then if we go hardcore, I take it down from YouTube. So not all of them are on YouTube. And then this Tuesday coming up, we're gonna have Cami Nodell on again. This will be her 3rd time on the Melodome. I love her. She's so smart. She's great, and that's gonna be a really good show. 7 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, check it out, man. Melodome, where the best foes roam, baby.
Yeah, I'd like to make a prediction real quick.
Absolutely.
Josh is gonna tell his workmates about Corey, and then about a week after that, he's gonna have his falling down moment. So I'm still gonna go with 2 weeks. After he gets fired. Go ahead.
2 weeks. Everybody put it right now as a reminder on your phone. 2 weeks from today, we will come back and see how Josh is doing.
I'm just kidding.
Flat Earth, Moon, and Zodiac clock app, which has the countdown timer. So I'll set a countdown right now. We'll see if you
no.
Perfect.
Don't ruin Thanksgiving, Josh.
I avoid it. That's how I contribute.
Close. Love y'all.
Yeah,
you guys have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for hanging out with us this morning. It was
good meeting you.
This was great. Yeah, you too, man. Much love.
Yeah, you can check out some of Jonathan's work. Jonathan's got a little channel called Perceptions Talk Radio there on YouTube, or you can hear him in some of Mark Sargent's early work. He was Mark Sargent's sidekick there for a hot minute. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank everybody for hanging out in chat, and everybody that checked this out after the fact. If you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little thumbs up, the like. Make sure you go ahead and drop a comment. Tell us what you thought of the show. In the meantime, we will see you this evening for a really exciting show. Stick around. We'll see you then. Bye-bye. Don't stick around. Just come back then.